So I am Carly Singer. So I am a travel concierge, which means I specialise in all things travel. So I thought I would just talk to you today all about me and my business and a bit of a getting to know me kind of thing. So I've got 10 years experience in the travel industry, which is both across working as an employee for a large company and running my own business. I've dealt with, as I said in my 1 minute, both leisure and corporate travel for that sort of period of time. I have travelled to over 35 countries, have lived in 3 of them. And my longest travelling stint was 16 months when I travelled all over Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji before coming back home to the reality of the grim UK in the middle of winter. So why travel? I've always been passionate about travel and exploring the world since I was a teenager. It's always something that's just been at the forefront of my mind, something I've always wanted to do. And my teenage dream was to actually live in Australia, which I did do back in 2016. So here's some of my favourite travel memories. So this is island hopping in Fiji, which was stunning, loved it. Skydiving in New Zealand, I was petrified, did not want to do it. It was also Halloween as well, just to make it a little bit more spooky, but I did it. Snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef, climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge. This is a place called Elephant Nature Park, which is in northern Thailand in Chiang Mai. So it was all ethical. So basically all these elephants are rescued. They are basically been previously harmed in the tourism industry within Thailand. And this lady set up this sanctuary, which basically rescues the elephants. And yeah, it's just a sort of close interaction with the elephants, which is awesome. This is a sunset in Mindil Beach, which is in Darwin in Australia. I think it's every twice a week they do these night markets, and honestly just the most stunning sunset I've ever seen. Cruising in Halong Bay in Vietnam. So this is a collection of about 2,000 limestone islands in northern Vietnam near Hanoi. Again, absolutely stunning, wonderful experience. Spent the night on a traditional junk boat is what they're called, in the middle of coastal Vietnam. This was our safari in South Africa, which we did in 2020. We actually got away in February, came back to the wonderful world of COVID, but yeah, we did get away. So yeah, amazing experience on a private game reserve in the Eastern Cape. More recently, just a family holiday, all-inclusive hotel in Tenerife, and San Francisco road tripping in California. So did the whole coastal drive. That was a little while ago, actually. It was about 10 years ago, but yeah, awesome experience. So the services I offer, so as I've said in the past, tailor-made multi-center holidays. So that is anything of sort of 2 different locations within one trip. So, or more. So like West Coast of USA, flying into San Francisco, out from Las Vegas, driving the coast, traveling all over Australia, North and South Island in New Zealand, South Africa, Cape Town garden route, safaris, one of the most popular ones. Again, even just stopovers, stopping in Dubai on the way to the Maldives, that kind of thing as well also sort of fits into that. So that's really what I specialise in and pride myself in doing well in. Luxury beach breaks, so I have access to rates in all sort of luxury hotels and within Mauritius, Maldives, Caribbean, Thailand, any other beachy destinations as well I can do. Honeymoons, speaks for itself. And then bespoke business travel management for SME companies. So that's really sort of speaking to the travel bookers who are booking long haul travel generally for their executives and piecing it together. So giving 2 or 3 options depending on the route, providing the flexibility that ticket offers, and then working within that to sort of streamline their processes. So why me? So obviously I've got extensive travel experience, as I've said, got excellent product knowledge and destination knowledge of all these places. I've been booking travel for 10 years, so I pretty much book travel to anywhere in the world, even Antarctica, even all these, Eastern African countries as well. So there's not that many places I don't know anything about, and obviously have researched a lot into some of these places, even if I've never been. I genuinely care that you have the best experience from booking to returning home. So I don't forget about my clients once they get home. They always hear from me. Obviously with the hope of referral and repeat business, but also just to check that they had a good trip, to clarify if anything went wrong, because that's really when you can start sorting things out as well. So I can save you time, money, and hassle. So yeah, obviously, how many of you have sort of spent hours and hours on end researching hotels and destinations online and just not knowing what you're looking for, what you're wanting to do, getting confused by all the the differences in fares and fares types. So that's really where I can sort of help and come in and really give you sort of a good overview and recommend what would actually work for you, or for the business you're booking for, or that kind of thing. And then a single contact, so that's another really important one. It's always me you're dealing with. So I'll know everything about your trip. It's all in one place. So if there is a question or if there is a problem, you go to one person to deal with that. Obviously, I'm not available 24/7, but I'll get onto that in a second. So how do I do it? So I franchise with a company called Dial a Flight. They are the #1 rated travel agency on Trustpilot. Obviously, that's all from customer feedback and reviews. They're a UK-based company, pretty big, pretty well known. Not sure if any of you have heard of them or used them before in the past. By having working with Dial a Flight, I've got access to their negotiated airfares and hotel rates. So what that means is this is where the money saving part comes in. So when you're looking online and you're looking at flights, there are so many different airfares than what you're looking at. So there's different corporate fares, package fares, or the other ones, so many different fare types as well. And within that, there's different fare levels, which will generally can provide different flexibility, obviously different cabins as well. And we've got access to private rates that are negotiated between Dial a Flight and the airlines, and again with the hotels as well. It also means that there's a single contact or a direct relationship between Dial a Flight and myself and the airlines or hotel providers, which helps for a number of reasons. If you want anything in a hotel, anything special, anything sort of set up, it's easy to sort, easy to fix. If there are any problems or anything that needs clarifying, again, the power of that relationship helps to sort of iron out any issues, which may and do occur sometimes. A network of suppliers. So as I've said before, access to a huge range of suppliers, cruise companies, different airlines, different hotels, different tour companies in terms of group tours, organized tours. I can do private ones or sort of a general sort of group tour, up to 50 people, some of them do as well. But yeah, and a huge range of hotel suppliers as well. So it's obviously I try and do direct, but sometimes I can get access to different hotel rates from sort of 5 or 6 different suppliers to find the best rates, basically. The 24/7 emergency assistance. So that's a free in-house service that Dial a Flight offer. Thanks for the timer. And basically, yes, so if there's any problems, any time of the day, there's always someone to speak to. Free quotes and travel advice. So anyone looking to book any travel, leisure or business, all my quotes are free, and all the advice is free. Travel reports of business travel, as I touched on previously. So these are anything from carbon offset reports to spend reports to which travellers are travelling where to what's the most destination has been travelled to. So that's really a bespoke thing depending on the client. So my contact details and any questions to finish off.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carly. If you put your stuff in the chat, can you stop sharing the screen? Is that okay? Yes. So we can just see if there's any questions. I know Chivers has got a question. I've got a question as well. That was amazing. And I loved seeing your travel pictures as well. That's awesome to see. You've had experience of a lot of these destinations you help people to get to as well. So Chivers, we'll go with you, and then I have a question, and then I think Mark had a question as well.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you. That was really, really good, Carly. Thank you for that. Very, very informative. Thanks. Completely random question, because it's a question I got asked yesterday. Now, I'm someone who hates holidays. I would much rather have a fortnight off pottering around in my garden.
Fair enough.
But a friend asked me yesterday, where's better to go to, Tenerife or Benidorm?
Oh, I would say Tenerife. I've actually not been to Benidorm personally. I like Tenerife because it's a year-round destination. So any time of the year you can go and get good weather, whereas Benidorm is a bit more seasonal. So you're a bit more relying on summer. So if you go off season in Tenerife, you can probably get a good deal and it's not as busy. So yeah, that would be my advice on that one.
Brilliant. Thank you. I will pop in and tell her. I will give her your contact details, but I know what she's like. She won't pick the phone up to anybody.
Fair enough. No problem at all. Who was next? Sorry, was it Marie?
Great question. Yeah, and I had a lady yesterday who is elderly. Now she's one of my long-term patients, one of my long-term clinic patients, and she's in her 80s, and her daughter lives in Australia. And I was talking to her about you yesterday because she's looking to get a flight to Brisbane, but she doesn't want to have a 5-day layover in Dubai, which Emirates is sort of forcing forcing her to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but her concern was obviously she's elderly and she hasn't dealt. She's dealing with travel bag and other sort of travel agents, and was uncertain as to what security you could offer as like an independent travel consultant under the Atoll and ABTA sort of
Right.
banner.
Yeah. So ABTA. So just to define it. So ABTA is a code of conduct, sorry, by which its members have to adhere. So basically, if there's ever any problems, they can act as a middle ground between a customer and the company to sort of iron out as I said, as a middle ground and an impartial, that's the word I forgot for a second, adjudicator, decide who was on the right side or who was not. Atoll is your license to be a tour operator, which basically is flights plus accommodation. So unless you're booking flights plus accommodation, you're generally not Atoll protected. Here's where my caveat's going to come in. If I'm booking a flight and it's a flight only and it's a private fare, so you know how I mentioned how these negotiated fares, which is one that is not accessed online, you actually still get afforded Atoll protection. But Atoll protection, all that actually really covers you is if your travel company goes bust before you're due to travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're on holiday and I don't know, say for example, there was an earthquake in Morocco last week or the week before, I can't remember. Obviously, and that happened 2 days before you were to go, and you booked a package through myself or another Atoll operated company. That's actually package travel regulations. There's been a major change. You can't travel. You're entitled to a replacement holiday of equivalent value or a full refund. Obviously, most people, it is case by case as well, in particular sometimes. Okay. But that's basically Atoll protection. So yes, I can offer Atoll protection on a flight only, or even a flight plus one night accommodation. So if they're staying in Dubai, that would have Atoll protection on it. Okay. Even if they're staying with friends and family for 2 months in Australia, but booked 2 nights in Dubai, that would still be covered by Atoll. In terms of the other protection I can offer, it's more just having the security of someone to speak to and not dealing with online and, you know.
Yeah, I think she'd benefit from that.
Absolutely, yeah. And call centres, and we can arrange like not emergency assistance, what's the word, like disabled, like wheelchair assistance, that kind of thing. She needs help getting through the airports and all of that. And it's also it's often about knowing which airlines don't book equivalent of an
I think that's it. I think I'll give you your number anyway, Carly, because I think she just needs to have a conversation with you anyway. But she asked me that question. I said, I don't know. So I thought I'd ask you today. So ideal opportunity. Thank you so much for that. Mark, we'll go to you finally. Prem, I know you've popped a question in the chat as well. Welcome to you. We can't get through all the questions today, but we'll go with Mark first before we move on.
I'll answer the questions in the chat by writing in a moment, but
just a quick one. Generally speaking, how do your prices compare to the good old internet search or you know, kind of like what we could do direct?
Yeah, I mean, it's very competitive. Obviously, as touched on the negotiated rates, I'm not going to lie and say to you 100% of the time I'm cheaper than online. I'd say I'm always good value for money. And it's always the extra value that, you know, you might spend an extra £50 booking with myself versus booking online, but obviously all the extra services you're getting through booking with a human being versus booking online. I'm pretty good. Like, I don't like doing it, don't get me wrong, because it always cuts my margins. But if someone does see something online, like, I'll always see what I can do. And if there is flexibility, I will look to it. But yeah, that's generally how it works.
Just a comment. I've used concierge services now about 5 times, Carly, and the services you provide are brilliant. And when I next want to book a holiday, I'll do it. Each time I've just told them where I want to go. These are the places I want to go to. This is the type of vehicle I want. I want to be picked up from home, taken to the airport, and then collected again at the end. Just told them everything, and just got a price and just booked it. I don't know if I saved money. I don't know if it cost me more. But what I do know is I didn't have to worry about anything. And it was and each time it's been the best holiday.
And also time is money at the end of the day. If you're spending time searching hours and hours on end,
I couldn't be asked, to be honest. That's why I did it. I just couldn't be asked. And it was each time it's been the best holiday ever.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I'm using you next time.
Thanks. Yeah, let me know.
Right.